Have you ever dealt with it's too expensive? Do you want to learn how to overcome the price objection the real way? Well, let me show you what I've discovered in this video. I want to walk you through a really simple framework. I'm going to give you 2 questions to ask people with respect to that objection, okay? Let's just provide the foundation or the context. You're talking to a prospect, you get to the close, you present the price, and they're like, I need to think about it. Or it's a bit more than I wanted to spend, or I can't afford it, it's too expensive, whatever it is, okay? The first thing I want you to understand is that price is never the real objection. Do not allow someone's objection on your price to get you second guessing that you should discount or reduce your prices. You shouldn't. What you need to be able to do is do a better job at articulating the value as it pertains to that prospect. So I'm gonna just use the example of a $5,000 coaching program that's gonna transform someone's health in some way, shape, or form, okay? So let's just use weight loss as the primary example here. They're coming in, they wanna lose weight, and they're like, I've been doing everything for years, nothing's working, I've done the diets, I've done the supplements, I've done the cleanses, and then you're like, cool. And they're like, this is exactly what I've been looking for. This is amazing. Let's talk about the price. And you drop the price and they're like, oh, okay. I need some time to get my stuff in order and to think about it. And then they go away and then they send you that email later that day or the next day saying like, I loved our call. I really appreciate you taking the time, but I've decided to go another route, or I've decided that this isn't the best fit for me. I want you to understand that all of that is, I am scared. All of that is just bullshit. It's a cover up for I am scared. And I want to talk with you about why that's happening here and how to overcome it. And if you've been in this situation, I want you to put yourself in that situation where this may have happened to you. So prospects on the phone, they're like, this is exactly what I want. You drop the price and all of a sudden they go into fight or flight. Prefrontal cortex shuts down. They can't think properly. They can't think logically. All they're thinking about is run away. I need to protect myself. Now, this is their lower self or their ego talking, the reptilian brain, not their higher self. They know this is the right thing for them to do, but they're scared shitless. And this is the human condition. This is why most people don't do anything in life, because they're scared and they allow fear to cripple their dreams. Okay? So here's what's happening, is they're fixated on the price instead of the payoff. Price is what you pay, value is what you get. They're focused on the price, they're not focused on the value of what it is they're gonna get. Now, the first thing you have to understand is that it's your fault. You have to do a better job at being able to have a conversation where that person doesn't get fixated on the stuff they're getting, but on the outcomes they will enjoy. If they're focused on it's $5,000, it's $5,000, it's $5,000, it's too much money, I don't have that money, I don't have that money. They're not even thinking about the payoff, okay? So that's the fundamental issue, is they think they have a $500 problem, you have a $5,000 solution. They're not gonna make sense of that. What we need to do earlier in the conversation, I've talked about this before, is show them that their problem is not $500, it's $50,000. So all of a sudden the problem is significantly greater than the price you're asking for. So first things first here is the first part of the call, you have to be able to get that person to either be very aware of, or ideally they're coming in with the awareness that their problem is significantly greater than your price. Right? And it's almost like a U here. So think about this, their problem is up here, your price is down here, and the payoff is back up here, right? Because this is a $50,000 problem, your payoff is $50,000 in terms of its resolution of that problem. So it's kind of like this U, okay? So problem, price, payoff. Cool? Now, what ends up happening is if you're getting a lot of price objections, it's almost an inverted U. So they have a problem which they don't think is a big deal based on the way their mind is working. You have a price that's up here, and for them, the payoff is down here. So how can they make sense of that? It's almost like a sad face. We want to smile, right? You, not, So if you get this, you're not getting the sale. So I'm gonna give you 2 questions to ask someone in the objection. So the person says, this is a lot of money. I really need to think about it. Isolate the objection. Cool. Other than price, is there anything else? No. Cool. Awesome. So let me ask you this. If this were free, would you do it? Most people that you're speaking to would say, yeah, for sure. Cool. Why is that? Why would you do it if it were free? And now you're gonna get someone talking about, I had nothing to lose and blah, 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 blah. And they'll tell you why they would do it if it were free, okay? Now, you can really quickly interject here to say, okay, listen, I totally get that, but I can't offer this for free. 2 reasons. Number 1 is I would not be able to create an amazing experience that would most likely get you great results. And number 2, you wouldn't do shit. Because if you have no skin in the game, you're not invested. The less you pay attention. If you pay nothing, you pay no attention, which means you actually don't get any results. And that's the ultimate disservice to you. Does that make sense? Now, second question is, well, what if it was guaranteed? Would you do it then? And this is a very interesting question, because the answer to this question will bring up the real reason why someone is not gonna do this. And there's 2 reasons. If I were guaranteed to lose the weight, would I do this? If they say no, what that tells you is they don't actually want what it is they say they want. And in that case, ciao, out of here. Most people, assuming they get to this point, will most likely say probably. And what that tells you, if they say yes to that question, is that they do not believe that paying you $5,000 is going to get them the payoff, okay? Here's the thing, is that they're not focused on the payoff. They're focused on the price. But if they were of the understanding that this would absolutely get me the results, then they're focused on the payoff. And if the payoff is meaningful enough to them, they would be willing to unlock that by paying the price. I hope this is making sense. You might have to rewatch this a few times because this gets into a lot of like the deep psychology of why we make decisions or not. The reason we're asking this question is because we haven't done a good enough job articulating the value throughout the conversation. So if we said, if this were guaranteed to get you results in 30 days or whatever, would you do it? They say yes. Cool, awesome. And correct me if I'm wrong. What I'm hearing is that you don't quite believe that right now, as I've presented this is going to get you that outcome. Is that right? Because the person said, if this were guaranteed, I would do this. Okay, so now we know if there's a guarantee of outcome, they would invest the money. Most people, if it's a must for them, they will find a way. If it's not, they'll find an excuse. And second, if they believe this thing will help them, they will find a way to come up with the money. Like if their kids were kidnapped, it was $5,000, do you think they'd find a way? 100%, okay? So do not buy the lie that this is too expensive. They're gonna go buy the newest iPhone in like a year, okay? So don't buy that. So what we have to do now is we have to mitigate their desire for 100% certainty before they take action. There's no 100% certainty, right? You cross the road, you get hit by a car. There's nothing certain about that, if you know what I'm saying. What we have to do is have a conversation around, awesome, so what you're telling me is you're not quite certain that this is gonna get you the results based on the way I presented it. Would that be about fair? Person might say, or they should say, yes. The goal of this conversation is to get to the real root of the issue. Here's the thing, and this is the conversation that's important in a coaching relationship. It's like, listen, I understand that you want 100% certainty, but can you tell me an area of life where you have embarked upon something where there wasn't 100% guarantee on that? You know, did you have kids? Cool, was it guaranteed that they're gonna turn out when they were born perfectly healthy? No, but you did it anyways. This is important, okay? Because there is no 100% certainty in anything. The second thing, letting them, being very, very clear about this with them to say, listen, based on our conversation and based on the fact that I've done this for a very long time, I know with 100% certainty that my process works. The only thing I'm unclear about is whether you do. So I want to be very clear about this. The reason I can't offer you an outcome guarantee is because you have to do some work. I can't eat the food for you. I can't move your body. You have to do that. I'm going to give you the roadmap. I'm going to help you every step of the way. But if you don't meet me halfway, how can I possibly offer you an outcome guarantee? And it's very important to have this conversation because what that means is that they take more ownership and responsibility over their own process and outcome. Now, if they're a grown-up and not like a baby in adult clothing, and hopefully they recognize that, oh, my results are on me, that's great. Because now it's about, cool, so just let me be very clear. Can you show up and do the work? Will you show up and do the work? Will you lean in for support? Will you keep going when the going gets tough? The person says yes, yes, and yes. Great, then here's my guarantee to you. I guarantee that us working together will get you so much closer to your ultimate goals, infinitely faster than anything else you try or have done before. That's what I can guarantee to you. Are you okay with that? Because I think a lot of people are looking for the ultimate. Like, it's like, this is the last thing I'm ever gonna do. But even if you don't get them to the finish line, if you get them to the 5-yard line, would that be okay? And what you're saying is, I'm gonna get you there faster. I'm gonna help you accelerate that progress and get you so much closer to that end result, but I can't promise you the touchdown. Because you have to run, you have to catch the ball. I will throw it to you, but if you don't catch it, I can't guarantee a touchdown. And if you're speaking with an adult who takes responsibility for their results and they understand that this is how life works, the likelihood of them saying yes and assuming that this outcome, hitting the touchdown, is a must for them, you will do a much better job of overcoming the price objection. Cool? And so that is how I would recommend dealing with the price objection, because it's not about, okay, the other colleges do increase my price, these are like, you know, these are the wrong quality people. It's not about that. It's they just don't see the value, and that's your fault, right? And this is why we have to get better at having these conversations and really, really understanding why people make decisions and why they don't. And we've all been in these situations. And so think about the last time you were in a buying situation. I'll tell you an example of mine. So a little while ago, we invested in a coaching program, $20,000-ish. And I wasn't like super stoked about the process or what we were about to do, but I was willing to take a risk on this because my thinking, okay, was worst case scenario, it's 20,000 bucks. I'm not gonna lose $20,000 because I'm not just gonna like let it go to waste. Like I'm gonna show up and get the most out of this. So I thought to myself, if I only got this one nuance to improve this one piece of the bigger pie, it would be worth it. I'm not going into a relationship like that saying,
this is the thing that's gonna save my business. If this doesn't work, this is a scam. I need all my money back.
That's how babies think. That's how victims think. And this is why you want to be able to help people think about that payoff as opposed to just fixating on the price. And this is also why it's very dangerous to tell people what your price is before you've even spoken with them. Because now all they have is price. They have no context to the payoff, and therefore anything is expensive when there's no context to the value or the payoff, okay? So anyways, hopefully that makes sense. If you've enjoyed this video, hit subscribe. And if you'd like to improve your salesmanship without feeling salesy or douchey and all that kind of stuff, then watch the next video here, and I'm gonna walk you through our $217 million enrollment call framework. This is exactly what we help our clients with, and I'm gonna walk you through the 9-step process. I think it'll really help you out, because if you get better at this, you'll be able to enroll more clients, help them transform more lives, and that's ultimately why we're in business. Watch that, and I'll see you there.